Social media has become an essential for every business, and nearly every business has some sort of presence on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the platform is. And it's important to understand or to fully understand the communication plan or the communication strategy for any brand. You need to check their social media platforms. So perhaps the question comes naturally, what do you need to check when you're checking their social media accounts? Is it the content? Is it the visuals? Or what kind of comments should you have on that? So the first thing you need to check on any social media channel is the community, or in other words, to validate the target audience. Many times we're approached by businesses that say that this specific segment is the one that we're targeting, and they behave in this way or that way. And once we check their social media channels, we find that their most engaged audiences are completely different and completely belonging to a different segment than the one that they have in mind or the one that they want to target. So it's important to highlight that, because they may either be targeting the wrong segment, or they may be targeting the right segment, but their communication on social media is not resonating with that segment that they're targeting. That's why they're targeting a completely different segment, or the segment that engages with them is not the right one that they're going for. So to validate the target audience and to understand the community, you need to go through comments. You need to go through the list of people who liked their content, or maybe their list of followers, who like the sort of the profile that engages with the brand online, especially on social media, tells you a lot about that brand and their communication strategy. The second thing you need to check is, of course, the content. Content plays a huge role on all social media channels. So what kind of content are they producing? Are they producing content regularly? Are they publishing frequently? This is very important for you as someone who is going to develop a digital marketing strategy or a social media strategy, to know where this brand stands right now with content, and is the content relevant to the target audience, or they're just ignoring it because they don't find it interesting. When it comes to analyzing content, it's not only the numbers that matter, but also the quality, because many people would focus on how many posts would they publish every month, and how many likes they got for that post, or how many reactions they got for that story. While these are somehow important metrics, but they're not the only metrics that matter, because the quality of what you produce is the major or the most important part of that. Because no matter how many stories you publish every day, if the quality of the content does not resonate with those you're targeting, then it will be just wasted time and money. So you need to analyze the purpose of the stories. Are they just creating stories or content or videos just for the sake of publishing every day, or do they truly have a purpose? Do they have a clear call to action? Do they consider their target audience and their questions, their needs, and what sort of expectations they have for the brand? Are they meeting those expectations, or is it just noise on social media, and that doesn't really generate real value or profit? It doesn't really add to that brand's presence online. A part of content that you need to analyze as well is the aesthetics and visual aspects. Is the brand identity clear? Is it easy to differentiate when people are just scrolling fast? Is it easy to find that content? What sort of brand cues are they consistent with their branding? And overall, the brand's tone of voice and aesthetics, Is it relevant to what this brand is doing or what this business is doing generally? These are all critical factors that you need to take notes of when you're doing your market research, especially on social media channels. The last thing you need to check on their social media channels is the moderation. Being responsive on social media is essential. Some platforms like Instagram and Facebook even highlight how responsive a page is and would highlight that at the top of the page to let everyone know, or every visitor know, that this page is very responsive and it's active. So looking at their moderation, how do they reply to comments, how fast they respond to comments and messages, and does their response have or add that value to those who are engaging with the brand? For example, many brands would just set up a bot, and once you send an inquiry or a question, you would just get an automated message that doesn't really tell you or doesn't really solve your problem. This is very frustrating, and you'd be surprised at how many times people really complain about that when they're dealing with brands or interacting with brands online. This is why you also need to analyze their moderation and make sure that it's not only responsive for the sake of being responsive, but it's also helpful, it's also engaging, it's also meaningful to those who are engaging with the brand. In addition to that, the moderation also needs to be in line with the brand's tone of voice. So if your brand is playful, it's funny, and it's youthful, then your comments should behave the same way. You shouldn't be replying using very monotonous or extra professional tone of voice. You should be responding as if that brand was a real person, and that real person is replying in the same way they would just communicate normally. Or if it's the other way around, if it's a business-to-business brand, for example, then your comments need to be more professional, they need to be informative, and of course, they need to be in line with the brand's values and tone of voice. So you see, there are so many aspects to uplifting your social media presence when it comes to content, community, moderation, and visuals. These are your tools to communicate directly with your audience. And social media, the main purpose of social media is to make your brand memorable, is to make it a top of mind brand, so that once people consider or once people think of that product, your name or your brand would pop up to their minds first thing. And social media is powerful because it really does that. And it has that power to inspire the audience to purchase that product. Maybe not on the first time or the second time, but they always have it in mind that, oh, I want to buy this, or I want to buy that product. It's a really cool, I want to try it. So use that in your advantage, especially if you're the one who's creating the marketing strategy. Then of course you need to analyze every aspect of those to uplift and make sure that your social media presence is pushing your business forward. Now, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.